The valley is often two places where we can relate to somebody, and also places where we can get addicted to staying there because we don't know a way out. And the reason we don't know a way out, this is getting deep, y'all. I'm just saying. The reason we don't know a way out is because we're trying to figure a way out from an old identity that is dying.
Welcome to Winning the Divine Lottery. I'm your host, Amy Dons.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Winning the Divine Lottery. I'm really excited to share this episode with you today. Today is the release of my second book called God's Dog: How to See the Gifts of Life in All Experiences. And I thought it was really great to talk about grief. Maybe a topic that makes us a little uncomfortable, but I do believe there is a purpose in grief, and I really just want to unpack that with you here today. So, if you are experiencing grief in any way, and I really do truly consider grief as being a process of letting go of an identity to something or someone or even an idea. We can lose loved ones, like me losing my dog Jersey and my dad, but we can also experience the loss of ideas, dreams, desires not working out the way we think they should have. And also, we can grieve the loss of our identity when we go through shifts and life transitions and transformations. So I really want to take an opportunity to dive into grief because I do believe there's a soul purpose for it. I believe everything that we are here to experience in our human journey serves a purpose. And so let's go. Let's dive into grief and explore the purpose together. So I just actually wanted to say that I was really reminded this past weekend. I went to an event of how we are so much more alike than we are different. When we come together, when we gather in a space that's really curated with love, um, following your intuition, and something that you desire to create in the world, it is a space for transformation. And when we come together like that, and I've learned this over and over and over again, and I've seen it just to be true so many times, that we are so much more alike than we are different. When you peel back the layers, when you go inside, when you allow yourself to be seen, to be fully transparent and fully vulnerable, we all experience the depths of emotions. We all experience the challenges of being human. We all experience the struggles of overcoming and becoming. And it might look different. The story might appear to be different. The way we move through it and our approach in life may appear to be different. But inside, we are all so similar and yet so incredibly unique. And I'm just reminded of this time and time again, that I do believe the purpose of grief, if I'm going to start with that, is love. I believe that everything that we experience in life, the underlying current is love. The current that is flowing through us and trying to move us to a space and place is to remember that we came from love, that we are love, we are here to be loved, we are here to give love and to receive love. And in order to remember that, we experience temporary things that we capture an identity, how we see ourselves in relationship to that thing, that person, that event, that circumstance. And these things are temporary. And when they're temporary and they dissolve, they leave, they go away, they die, whatever identity is attached to that is when it will start to flare up. It's when it will feel really intense and really, really big. And it's part of the process of getting us to the place to remember what we are. That even though these things come and go, even though change is a constant, ever occurring thing, there is something that remains constant. There is an awareness of all these things that come and go, these people that come and go, these experiences that come and go, these feelings that come and go, these thoughts that come and go. There is a constant awareness of that. And when we get brought back to that, we realize that it's only love, that there is this loving awareness that we are, that is the true nature and the true self. Now, the process that we go through is sometimes incredibly painful. I was fortunate enough, and I do speak to this often. I speak to this in my book, God's Dog. I was fortunate enough to be able to be conscious, present, and aware for the process of the transition of my dog Jersey and the transition of my dad. And now, even as I speak this out loud, I can hear my voice get shaky. I feel tears well up in my eyes, but I am not ashamed of that because I feel that grief is a process that we experience off and on throughout our life. And it's a beautiful thing to experience. It opens our heart. It allows us to get in touch with what we feel deeply in our being. It allows us to sort and sift through what really matters to us, our values, what we stand for, while we're here embodying this human experience. There's so many wonderful things that happen from the experience of grief. If you can open yourself up to a perception of what is this teaching me right now? What higher is trying to come through by my experience of this right now? I know sometimes one of the most difficult things is to experience pain because we, in a human tendency, want to get as far away from pain as possible and move toward pleasure. And so, in order to do that, we find a way to soften the pain. And most often than not, that is through some sort of addictive pattern. We numb it, we avoid it, we suppress it, we don't allow ourselves to feel it. And this is a process that we all experience in our own unique way. And one of the things I've really recognized in working with my clients and in also my own life experience is we all have like kind of one of that core coping thing that we always come back to when we're moving through something that is really painful or really uncomfortable. Um, and within that thing that we do in order to cope, underneath that is a lying emotion or core belief. Or even a better way of saying it is a core perception, either how we see the world or how we see ourselves. And I know one of mine is not being enough. And so one of my fundamental core coping mechanisms is to turn to food. And this has shifted and changed throughout my life. But underneath that is just this way to numb, ease, suppress, and even avoid what I'm feeling because in the moment, in my nervous system, in my subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the past, present, and future, it it feels um extremely painful. It triggers traumatic memories and it just puts my body and my nervous system into flight, fight, freeze, survival. And so I'm sharing this with you because you're not alone. We always think that we're alone when we go through this process, but we're just not. And I'm just brought back to this event again that I attended, and it reminded me of we think we're walking this path alone, but we are not. We are all walking each other home. And my reason for saying that right now, and I just feel so convicted in my heart, is we can have a coaching industry, we can have a health industry, we can have a wellness industry, we can have mentors, and all of these things in our life that can help us grow and move through these things. But the one core thing, at least for me, I'm speaking from my personal perception and experiences. If there is not a foundation of love within that, if there's not a space that whoever you're working with or when you're with yourself, that you can bring yourself back to this place that aspect, that shadow, that pattern, that habit, that thinking process is not worthy of love, then there is going to be something significantly feeling like it's always missing from your life. And that's where we will always reach for the external and avoid feeling, avoid coming within. And I want to just pause here. And this isn't about dwelling in our feelings. This isn't about dwelling in our grief. This isn't about dwelling in a problem and allowing it to persist. This is knowing that no matter what we are experiencing on the inside, based on what's happening on the outside. So if you just lost a loved one and you're experiencing grief and you're experiencing anger and you're experiencing sadness, even rage, the whole purpose of this conversation is to know that that emotion, that pattern, that anger, that sadness, that grief is so worthy of love. And it is this awareness that you are that sits sort of behind the veil of your life and watches all of these events happening and how your personality responds to them is so loving. It's loving grace. Like the heart of you, your soul, is loving grace. I hope this is landing with you. Um, it just reminds me of years ago. It's been almost 2 decades now that I painted on my wall, I am committed to love. And I knew logically in that moment that if I were going to be committed to love, then I would come up against everything that believed was not that, or was not that, or was separate from that. Um, it's it's a courageous journey. It it takes guts, it takes perseverance, it takes tenacity, it takes knowing yourself, it takes faith in a higher power, God, the universe, source, create. It takes something else. It takes something beyond time and space, beyond your circumstances. It takes so much. And I'm sharing this with you because I have just been in those spaces where it's been tough, y'all. I've been in Dark Night of the Souls where nobody understands what you're experiencing. Nobody understands what you're experiencing and knows what you're experiencing except for you. And even sometimes in those dark nights of the soul, you don't even understand what you're experiencing, but you know what you're experiencing. And if you even try to like convey that to somebody else, you feel lost, you feel unseen, and there's like an aspect of you, this divine craving that just wants somebody to step into the light of your heart and go, this is what's happening. And I'm just going to be here and I'm just going to love you. I'm going to love you in your experience right now. And it's not wrong. It's not right. I'm not going to judge it. And I'm saying this because I don't think we speak about this enough. I don't think we speak about the darkness enough in a way that we can reconcile it and resurrect it into the light because we all have it. We all experience the valley. We all experience the peak, but we experience the valley. And it's really interesting. The valley is often two places where we can relate to somebody and also places where we can get addicted to staying there because we don't know a way out. And the reason we don't know a way out, this is getting deep, y'all. I'm just saying. The reason we don't know a way out is because we're trying to figure a way out from an old identity that is dying. So right now, the question that I keep asking myself is, who am I? Even though this is about Jersey, my book God's Dog, the question I've been asking is, who am I without my dad? Who am I without my dad? Shaky, emotion, lots of emotion comes up. Again, there's no reason why to shame this emotion. Emotion is energy. It's moving something. Something higher is trying to birth through me to bring me back more into what I really am. That even though I'm here because of my dad, obviously my dad played a huge role in me being here, that God knew there would be this day where he wouldn't physically be here anymore. And that there would be this curiosity and question of who am I without my dad? And that's a big, courageous question to ask. And if you're not ready to ask that question, I want you to know that that's okay. It's totally okay. I don't have the same emotional response with my dog Jersey because Jersey was, as you'll know, when you get this book, and I highly recommend that you get this book because it's such a beautiful book. It was gifted to me. It was literally gifted to me by spirit. And I could feel the comfort and the hope and the inspiration and even the lightness that it would bring you, the reader, when you read it. And it's such an easy book to read because Jersey was just, she was filled with life right until the very end, even though you could see the transition. You could see her body starting to break down. You could see her dementia starting to kick in. She was full of life. And so that's what she gave me. And so who I am without Jersey is that I'm full of life. That was, I didn't even put that in the book. That's just coming through now. That that's the biggest gift that she gave me was she was full of life. And there's so many gifts, you guys. I even created an oracle deck that will come out eventually. I'm not sure when, but there's little cards even throughout this book that I sat down and I thought about all the gifts that I received while I had her as my sole companion in the form of a dog. And this experience of being so fully present with her during her transition and experiencing when you're so present, like nothing else exists. You're there. Like it's just all happening now. There isn't a later. And that in itself was such a huge gift. And I was so connected to my heart. And it was magical. Like the universe was guiding me, spirit was guiding me, and left me all these beautiful signs, especially to write her story in this book. And I'm even going to share, you know what? I'm going to share. I don't know if I'm going to share the whole first chapter. I'm not going to share the introduction. I'm not going to share the dedication in the front because I'll probably cry. It's to my dad. Um, I'll share the first chapter with you. How about that? It's only 2 pages. So here you go. It is December 28th, 2023, 5 days since giving our dog Jersey Girl back to God. The story of our Jers started 17 years ago in the winter of 2007. We were blessed to have this amazing spirited dog for 17 years. I had no idea then that she would be with us that long for so many difficult moments in my life. I had no idea that she would end up being the best dog I had ever owned in my entire life. And I had no idea that her transition would expand my heart the way it has in what feels like such a short amount of time. But truthfully, it was 17 years in the making. Jersey was more than just a dog. She was God in a dog's body. I only fully realize that now. I knew she was special, as well as did many others. I never expected that this moment would find me driving in my car, realizing that this is the book I want to write right now, even though I have another one in progress and yet another waiting to be written. This book is about the magic of Jersey. My nose is literally running, you guys. 1 second. Real life. This is the only way I want to do business. This is the only way I want to do my podcast. Okay? This book is about the magic of Jersey, how she impacted my life, and how that impact is still unfolding as I start to write the unwritten words on these pages. Just about an hour and 15 minutes ago, I was driving home with my heart overflowing with gratitude and love, certain that this is the book I must write at this moment. I was at a stoplight close to my home and I spoke out loud. I know I have another book on the go, but this is the book I want to write, like right now. Alignment is all I felt at that moment. Harmony flowed through my bones as an acoustic version of Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten started to play on my Spotify playlist. I kid you not. Right after I spoke my thoughts aloud to the universe, that exact song began to play. As I sat at what my son and I always call the longest light in the world, I smiled as my heart opened to the lyrics. It felt like a sign from Jersey that I was exactly on the right track. The 2 songs before the one were also about Jersey. the two songs before this one were also about Jersey. This is what I call synchronicity, alignment, God moments, being led by the universe, or being called to something greater. Somehow, I knew Jersey would live forever, and I was meant to write this book. I could feel how many hearts this book would inspire. That was the frequency I was in. The magical, intuitive nudges, whispers, and insights that led me here are nothing short of a miracle, all starting from the day I asked God when Jersey would die. Intuition led me here. Surrendering to innate energy within me led me here. Trusting and listening to the stillness and the thing calling me led me here. Courage. The willingness to be open without hesitation is what led me here. The life of owning a dog for 17 years. Not always being the nicest dog owner and learning to forgive myself in the process also led me here. My beingness brought me here to write this book. But mostly what brought me here was love. The constant, limitless, ever present, boundless, divine love. That which was Jersey is Jersey and always will be Jersey. That same love that is you and I. I hope these words awaken that love and help you remember it. Through this love, you may come to realize that anything is possible. For me, God is love. And it's no coincidence that dog is God spelt backward. The universe is always leaving us clues. It's up to us to find them. So, whether you're grieving a dog, grieving a parent, grieving a child, grieving a part of your life, grieving an experience, grieving the loss of hope, grieving a person you used to be, whatever it is that you are grieving, I want you to go and buy this book. Even though it's about a dog, it's not. It's about you, and it's about love, and it's about coming back to love over and over and over again. And the beautiful thing about life is we're always being initiated back to love. And we're not here alone. We're not meant to do this alone. Reach out if you feel that you're alone. Please reach out if you feel like you're alone. Go get your copy of God's Dog. There's even space to journal. I did this with my other book too. There's space to journal about your story here and writing a new story. And I hope you write a story that's built on the foundation of love, because that's the truth. I stand for this. I say this a lot. I don't think that you can say what you stand for enough. And that's no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, no matter what, you are worthy of love. You're worthy of your dreams coming true. You are worthy of living a life surrounded by people that love you. You are worthy of being loved, receiving that love, and being that love for others. I love you so much. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If it resonated with you at all, please share it with a friend. I love you.